Hello and welcome. Good morning, all the way from San Juan, Puerto Rico for the WBO 35th Annual Convention. We're celebrating boxing with the WBO family. And as always, the whole week we've been visited by great guests. But it's my honor and absolute joy to have one of the most exciting young talents that we have in boxing. And obviously, I know for a fact, future world champion,
Amen.
Extraordinary prospect, Xander Zayas. And I'm going to start by saying happy birthday, just a little late.
Yeah.
But you just turned 20. Thank you for being with us.
Claudia, thank you very much for everything. Thank you. It's always an honor speaking with you. And let's go have some fun.
Yes, let's talk boxing. So is this your first convention?
Actually, last year they had a convention too, and I came around the same time. I had just fought in my first co-main event in Atlanta. So actually my second convention, if we can, second or third convention, because I also came and they had something in Arecibo, Puerto Rico. So I've been around with the WBO for a minute now.
So when you're surrounded by, ex-world champs, Hall of Famers, how does that feel? You're just 20.
It's a dream come true, being able to speak to them, not just the boxers, but actually the referees, the judges. It's amazing because I used to see them on the TV, and I've been wanting to be in the ring with one of those referees or being judged with one of those judges, and just being able to have a conversation with them is just amazing. I mean, overall, I'm having a lot of fun here in my island, and I can't wait to get back.
And I love the fact that you take ownership over your Boricua roots. We both live in Miami. It's a hop, skip, and a jump. But you're very well, I'd say, embedded into the Puerto Rican lifestyle. Your mom, adorable. Your dad is extraordinary. But you're surrounded by Cubans. How does that work for you?
Well, I mean, my stepdad, is my dad to me. He's Cuban. But he came to Puerto Rico when he was 16. So
he's Puerto Rican.
He's Puerto Rican. He's Puerto Rican too. But yeah, in Miami, we surrounded by a lot of Cubans. But at the end of the day, it's all love. It's all Latino love, and we all understand each other. We all yell at each other and have fun with each other.
And we're all loud, and we talk with our hands and all that good stuff. So let's be. I want to talk about you. When did you know? We've had this conversation before, but for all the audience that are joining us today with the WBO family, when did you decide this is what I want to do for a living? This is what my career is going to be?
I want to say I was around 12. I sat down with my dad and I had a conversation with him, and he asked me what I wanted to do, if I wanted to box or if I wanted to do something else, because I wasn't as focused as I was supposed to be. And he gave me a point. He told me, hey, I'm going to give you a break, and I'm going to let you have some time to think about it. And that same day, I went back to him, and I'm like, Dad, there's nothing to think about. This is what I want to do. I want to focus in boxing, and I want to become the best in the nation at the time. And since that day, I took over every division that I touched.
You have. Indeed, you have. And I would say for the last 3 years, your life has turned upside down. You're all over the place.
Yes.
As a teenager, walking into a grown man's world, how did that affect you?
I mean, in a way, we were always preparing for that point, because we knew at some point in life we were going to be in that situation, and we wanted to do every step and take every step the right way, the right direction. So I felt like when it came about me, going into a man's world, I was ready, because I was raised by good parents. I had a great team behind me, and I always try to learn something new, and I like to listen a lot. So I was able to see things and make sure I didn't do it because I saw somebody else commit the mistake.
And a very quick shout out to Mr. Peter Khan.
Yes.
And I hope you're watching, because obviously he's taken you and your family by the hand. And we have a huge announcement.
Yeah.
We're going to have you very soon back in the ring. And I know we have the green light to share.
Yeah.
So why don't you share with your audience what's coming up for Xander Zayas?
December 10th, New York City, Madison Square Garden, Teofimo Pedraza card. I'm excited to be back in New York since, last time I couldn't be there because I got sick. So I'm super excited to be back in the Big Apple. And I can't wait for all the fans to tune in and be there live to watch it. Watch me put on the show.
Yes, and if you've missed Xander, you've missed a whole lot. And make sure you don't blink.
Yeah.
Because things move very quickly the minute that bell goes off. And do not mistake that smile. That's a killer smile, and I mean that seriously. Because the truth of the matter is, people might take you're young, handsome, amicable, verbose, so they go, you know.
That's what a lot of people say. They see me and they're like, man, but you're so nice. Once you go in the ring, it's a whole different person. And it's just my job. And my job is to go in there and make sure I come out victorious. Whatever it takes to make that happen, I will do it. And my whole smile and being a good guy has to change because that other guy in front of me wants to hurt me in some type of way. Maybe not in a harmful way, but they want to hurt me because that's the only way they're gonna win. So I have to do that before they get to me.
Yes. As a matter of fact, when we talk about fighters that are nice and amicable and friendly, and from this island, we've had a lot.
Yes.
Starting, back in the day, but, of the last couple of decades, we have Tito Trinidad, Miguel Cotto, Ivan Calderon, and they're all very friendly and happy-go-lucky. But once that light goes on, it's like it's a switch.
It's a whole different person in the ring. And I feel like at the end of the day, because it's a culture here in Puerto Rico where you don't need to know somebody to know somebody. You walking around in the street and you see somebody and you probably never seen them in your life, and you say what's up, you say what's up back. So it's part of the culture here in Puerto Rico to just be a good person, be just friendly, just be happy about life. I feel like life gives you opportunities, and sometimes some people takes advantage of them, some people don't. But the people that do, they just living a dream, and they just happy to be alive. At least that's the culture here in Puerto Rico.
I love this. I'm not Puerto Rican, but every time I come here, I feel exactly what you just mentioned. There's a warmth in the soul and the heart, and it's just so easy to live here. It's
a small island. It's a small island where a lot of people live here. For being such a small island, there's a lot of people in here, and in some way or another, we all know each other. So we just be friendly with one another.
Yes, and it's interesting because the community is tight here, and if we go to New York, it's just as tight. Which leads me to my next question. December 10th, you're going to be back in Madison Square Garden. Let's put this in perspective. This is what we call for many years, and we still consider the Mecca of boxing.
Yeah.
Those that have written their own chapters in the history books of boxing have gone there.
Yeah.
And let's pay respect to the Puerto Rican community that have supported their fighters. To the extent that whoever fights in New York as a Puerto Rican, it's almost like fighting at home.
It's almost fighting in Puerto Rico, definitely.
So, what does that mean to you?
It gives me goosebumps.
Yes.
It gives me goosebumps because it's an amazing experience to go out there in the Mecca of boxing where a lot of great fighters like Muhammad Ali, just to mention a name.
Yeah. Just a name.
Yeah. Fought there. And for the Puerto Rican base to be so big in New York means a lot because every time I walk into the ring, that walk out to the ring, it feels amazing. I've only done it twice, but the 2 times I've done it, it feels like home. It feels like when I fought here in Puerto Rico in 2020 before the pandemic. Just as big, just as incredible as going home.
And I think it's brilliant because that love that you feel, you give back. And I'm going to take this moment to share what you shared with us. Yeah. Xander did not waste time. He came back to Puerto Rico, and the first thing he did was visit schools and hold clinics and motivate children, young kids.
Yes.
What is your onus to do that? What motivates you to do that?
The future of the island. The future of the island are the kids that are coming up, and I feel like when I was in their position, I always wanted somebody like, somebody that inspires me to come into my life and just give me a little tips. Hey, you should stay focused. You should, and I did have it. So why not give it back? Why not give it back to the future, to the next generation, to the next people up? Because those are the people that are going to continue to bring glory to Puerto Rico. And at the end of the day, we also, doing a collaboration with Fundación Rimas. They are helping the island with all that's going on, all the hurricanes, all the earthquakes and stuff. So for this fight, the uniform that we're going to use is in honor of Roberto Clemente, and we're going to donate it to Fundación Rima. They're going to auction it, and whatever they take from that auction, they're gonna donate it to the people affected by Hurricane Fiona.
When you're mentioning all this, what comes to mind is the fact that this island has had hurricanes, earthquakes, horrible situations.
Yes.
And yet, going back to what you mentioned about people here,
definitely,
they're still happy. The first thing they do is they wake up, they put their things together, they see what they can use, or they just let go whatever
definitely.
they can't use. And that is, I believe, the reason why this small island has given us so many warriors.
It's just, like you said, we've been going through tough times in the last couple of years. And me, again, like you said, living in Miami, it's a bit hard to watch it away
Yes.
from home. So whatever help that I could bring to the island and to the kids and just put a smile into the people of my country, it's amazing. It means a lot to me, and I want to continue to do it every single time.
When you now are part of this limelight in this world that obviously calls people from all walks of life to come to you, what do you feel is your biggest responsibility?
To show them the respect they show me, to let them know that I'm as happy to meet them as they are happy to meet me. Because at the end of the day, without those people, I wouldn't be where I am today. I put in the work. My team put in the work. We do everything right. But at the end of the day, the people that is watching the fights are them, and they have to buy the fights for me to make a good career out of myself. So I'm just as happy to meet them as they are to meet me.
That is beautiful, because again, we were talking about that beautiful exchange of
Yeah.
love, attention, and warmth, and you're gonna get what you give.
Yes, definitely.
That's the basic premise in life.
Yesterday we were talking about it, and I told you the world is round, and whatever you do to maybe, affect somebody or help somebody is gonna come back to either bless you or to either hunt you. And I feel like thus far, it's been a lot of blessings for myself and for my team, my family, and I'm just happy to keep that going.
And you are at such a young age. Again, you're only 20, and at 20, I can tell you I was not that aware. I only God knows, but I was beating somebody up somewhere in some part of the world. To what do you attribute your level of awareness?
My parents, obviously, they did an amazing job with not just me, but my sister. They've always taught us that at the end of the day, it comes down to whatever you want to do, but at the same time, taking care of the people that took care of you. And just being humble, being respectful to other people, and just showing them the love that they show you. And at the end of the day, that's what it will come down to, just my parents, the parenting they gave me.
And just to put things in perspective and your awareness, maybe a year and a half ago, a year ago, you were letting your hair grow.
Yes.
Which I loved. Beautiful braids, beautiful hair. He's got beautiful hair. And I have this thing about hair and color, obviously. And you had it green, you had it blue, and then it became green. And, we were always talking about your hair. And then one day you said, I'm going to cut it off. Can you, if you don't mind, share why you cut your hair off?
Well, it was two different things that I cut it off. The first one, I really wanted to cut it off. I think it was time for me to, I've been growing it since 2016. So it's been a minute for with long hair. So I was just a bit tired of it. And the second reason, one of my little sisters from boxing, Jesselyn Silva, was battling cancer. I believe she's still in the battle. She's winning it, thankfully.
Prayers out to her.
But that was the other reason, just to support her. She had long, beautiful hair, and her having to cut it, it hit me a bit hard. So I did it for her too.
And those are the things that, despite your skills and your friendliness and your beautiful smile, is the heart.
Yes.
Your heart is what actually takes you. How compromising is it to just walk around with your heart in your hand?
It's just, I see it as part of my job, you know? That's just who I am. That's who I am. I'm not changing anything. I'm not acting anything. I'm not thinking that this will be good for my career. This is good for me. This is good for my life. This is good for my relationship, for my mindset. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna help anybody and everybody that I can. Because at the end, when you touch somebody's heart, they will remember that for life, and they will come back to you one day and tell you, "Hey, you remember this day? You really made me happy. You really changed my life." And that's what it's all about. Because a lot of people changed my life. My dad, one of the person that changed my life, and I always go back to him and I tell him, "Thank you for everything," because that's the only thing that I could do.
You know, and again, when we're in our 20s, we forget about our parents. It's part of growing up.
Yeah.
And that relationship between you and him transcends the sport. It's your friends, there's camaraderie, there's intimacy between you, even in communication that I've seen in your corner. Like, all he has to do is look at you.
Yeah, definitely.
And there are no words. Yeah. It's just a look.
That's my guy. That's my guy. We have, other than a son-dad relationship, we have a friendship. We have a coach-athlete relationship. I mean, we have all types of relationship. And at the end of the day, whatever we're doing at the moment, we know what relationship we have to bring into the table, and we understand each other. When he's in the ring, he's my coach, and I just look at him and I know what he wants. When I'm out at dinner, he's my dad. We can have fun. We can talk son-dad relationship. And then when we're having fun and just going to the beach or doing something and just us two, it's just a friendship, just my guy, like I said.
But you gotta share with us at least one instance where you go like, "Really, Dad? Really?"
Sometimes, like, you know, he's really he always looks out for me. I mean, that's my dad. And sometimes me being 20, I'm a bit hard-headed, like you say. And I'm like, "Oh, Dad, today I want to wear this." And he's like, "Yeah, but you can't wear it because we're going to a press conference. You got to look a bit nicer." And I'm like, "Dad, come on. Like, I want to look nice. I'm 20. And he's like, "But remember, we're not picturing for 20. We're picturing for when you're 30. And
wow.
I look at it and I'm like, "I wanted to wear this, but you're right. I got to wear this other stuff because it looks nicer." So there's a couple instances that I'm like, "Dad, come on." But then I think about it and I'm like, "But you're right, though."
You know, it's one of the things that I've asked you before. You're only 20 and you basically have dedicated your whole life to boxing. Boxing is a very jealous girlfriend.
Yeah.
Does not like to share, does not like to even give you time. It's a suffocating, toxic relationship. It takes over. How did you handle your, young teenage years and now your early 20s when most of your friends are going out, they just graduated from high school, looking for a college experience?
Well, I'm grateful that most of my friends understand my lifestyle. All of them know that when I'm in camp, there's no time for me to go out. There's no time for me to have fun. There's no time for me to go to the movies. It's time to focus. It's time to do my job, because at the end of the day, when they're on their job, I can't call them and tell them, "Oh, let's get on the PlayStation. Oh, let's do this," because that's their time to do their job. Maybe a lot different because my life is on the line when I do my job, but they understand it fully, and they know that when it's time for me to work, it's time for me to work. When it's time to have fun, it's time to have fun.
And today, even though it is in beautiful San Juan, Puerto Rico, and we are with our WBO family, today is a key day.
Yeah.
Today we're looking at rankings. Today we're looking at those positionings that obviously it takes a whole year for you to work in order to gain those positions. How important is it for you to be here and give face to all those people that make that decision?
Man, it feels amazing. I believe a couple of days ago we checked the rankings and I made number 10 in the list. So it's just a blessing, and being able to be here with the WBO, the first people that give me the opportunity to just fight for a title. At the end of the day, the first organization that opened the doors for me, and being from Puerto Rico means a lot more. So having to sit in front of them and them see my face, and me letting them know that I'm coming for that number one in that world championship means a lot, because they know I'm investing into my career.
And of course, you have December 10th, and we're not gonna look past that date. But if you had the opportunity, you just mentioned you're ranked number 10, perhaps that might change today based on what you've done this whole year that has been amazing.
Thank you.
What names would you like to pick and choose?
Man, there's a lot of names in the division. I will have to go back and check the rankings, but Tim Tszyu is fighting Charlo now in January. The winner of that will be the champion, will be the guy. But there's a lot of names right now ranked at least in the WBO, but at 154 overall. I want to take on every single one of them. I want to leave no doubt when I get to that world championship level, and I want to make sure that I beat the best to become the best. You know, and I feel like that's the right way to do it. When you could be the best by beating the best, there's no doubt in your mind that you're really that guy.
And when you mention those names, and you mention obviously that's a very doable goal, obviously, with your talent and your capacity and your work ethic. And that's another subject that I want to touch upon before I let you go. Is there somebody that you have animosity with? Because I've never seen you even exchange words, which is very, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but that's part of promoting a fight. You know, there's that, you know, ranting.
But not at all. No, I mean, not yet.
The key word here is yet.
Yeah, because I don't know if it will happen. I don't feel like it will because it's not who I am. I do all the talking in the ring. At the end of the day, we have to step in the ring and we have to back whatever we're saying up. So there's no reason for me to disrespect or say something that is not supposed to be saying camera to somebody. At the end of the day, I'll do it in the ring, and whoever they put in front of me, they're gonna have to be ready because I'm not gonna do none of the talking outside of the ring. I'm gonna do it in there.
That's brilliant. I don't know if you're aware, well, I think you are. This convention has been dedicated to the ladies.
Yes.
And we are in presence of ladies royalty, from Amanda Serrano, Alicia Baumgartner, Franchon Cruz, that we love her.
Yes.
We love all these ladies. And just a little sidestep, going back to the comment about promoting the fight. Perhaps one of the biggest fights that we had was at Madison Square Garden, where Katie Taylor actually faced Amanda Serrano.
Yes.
There was not one bad word. There was no animosity. As a matter of fact, when they stepped into the ring and they're getting the final instructions, Amanda looks at Katie and says, "Look at me, Katie. We did this. We did this together." And I remember that, and I still get goosebumps. So it's beautiful to understand that even though we're gonna go beat each other up.
Yeah, we're gonna go toe to toe. There shouldn't be no, I mean, at least what I think of it, there shouldn't be no animosity. At the end of the day, we're gonna do what we love at the highest level. Millions of people are gonna be watching. So what's the whole reason of having something against you? If I'm gonna beat you up, I'm gonna beat you up liking you or not liking you. So might as well doing it while I like you.
And let's enjoy it together.
Yeah, let's enjoy it together.
And going back to the ladies, you are part of this new era of boxing where you have we're almost there. Level playing field with the ladies. What does that mean to you, especially because in your gym you have a lot of ladies?
Yes, man, it means a lot because I've seen the hard work they go through. I've seen the dedication. I mean, it's the same as the one that I put in. And you know, maybe back in the day, them not being as recognized as us, the guys, it was a bit sad. But like you said, we're in a new generation. A lot of people is looking at it differently now. And I'm just glad to be part of this generation where we can help one another and just grow all together and make boxing even better.
So now I'm gonna make you commit, just like you've committed to so many beautiful, beautiful things, to remember and remind those young men and women that you talk to that they are capable to do anything and everything they desire.
Definitely. And that's always one of my messages to all of them, all the young people that watch me, all the young people that follow me, and not just young people, anybody at any age. I feel like there's nothing impossible in life. I mean, I signed my first contract when I was 16. I've never imagined it. I've never dreamed it. I've never thought of it. And just by hard work and the dedication and all the late night, early morning, they all paid off. and I'm here now living my dream at 20 years old and doing what I love at the highest level.
And you're shooting like that bamboo shot, right?
Yeah.
There you
Yes,
go.
ma'am.
It's been
Yes.
many years.
I mean, by just saying that is an honor to be sitting here with you when I used to watch you do interviews with all the great fighters, Canelo, Triple G, all these other great fighters, and just now being able to have a good relationship with you, outside of just boxing, it's just amazing to me. It's just a blessing, and I'm just blessed to be here and just be living my dreams.
Well, may the good Lord give me enough license
Yeah.
to see you achieve
ma'am.
all your goals.
Thank you. Amen.
And with that, I'm going to thank you dearly for joining us. It's such a pleasure. And
Thank you.
you for sharing everything about you, who you are.
Thank you.
And I take this opportunity to thank your dad and thank your mom. They're always so graceful.
Thank you.
And thank you so much. And I want to be there on December 10th. Can you just invite everybody to watch?
Guys, December 10th, Madison Square Garden. If you in the Big Apple, don't miss it. Buy your tickets. And if not, on ESPN, I'm going to put on a show. Toda mi gente de Puerto Rico, el 10 de diciembre, no se la pierdan en Nueva York. Vamos a poner un espectáculo y a cerrar el año fuerte. Así que muchas gracias por todo el apoyo siempre. Vamos para arriba y vamos a poner a Puerto Rico de vuelta en el mapa.
Amen. We're going to go for a short break, but when we come back, we're going to have more and more boxing. We're going to talk more rankings. And if something changes, we're going to bring Xander back and we can talk about it.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Let's
We'll
do
be
it.
right back.
Thank you.
And while we're still enjoying the assembly as they're working their ways through the rankings in the WBO, we continue here with the WBO 35th Annual Convention, the podcast. And as we have stated many days, this convention has been dedicated to the ladies, and I've had the fortune to be surrounded by outstanding talent, and among them, Alicia Baumgartner is with us, newly crowned with a belt that I know you were looking for so long. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, just surrounded in the boxing atmosphere, to just be a part of something great, to know that I did something, I made history.
Yes, you did.
Over 2 weeks ago, and I'm here, and it's just an awesome time.
For those that missed it, I'm just going to paint the picture because I hadn't been in a fight as a fan in so long. And it was brilliant for me to walk into the O2 Arena for the first time. I had never been there before. And it's a huge arena. And it went from having 2, 4, 10, 3,000 to packed.
Man.
From floor to ceiling. And there's something to be said about the English fans. They're loud, they're boisterous, they're emotional, visceral, and they love their boxing. And then you come out, and of course there's a crescendo to that encounter, when you're getting the final instructions. And why don't you let us share with us how that fight week went along? Because we got a chance to see it because we're in part of the environment. But a lot of people don't know the ins and outs of that whole week while you're, the tail end of a promotion of a fight of that size.
Yeah, this fight was huge for women's boxing. We knew this, and I loved how we were able to come back after 5 weeks and really push the card once again. And fight week was awesome. I love fight week. I love building the fight. Every day was just fireworks, to the press conference, to the weigh-ins.
Oh, the weigh-ins, it got bad. It got heated.
It got heated.
Talk to me, Goose.
Listen. So from the press conference, we did like a interview the first time. It was heated, and then
it was like the face-off, like back in the day when HBO used to have Max Kellerman. They would have like the face-to-face.
And the face-to-face is like my favorite thing to do because I want to stare in your eyes, and I just want to. My thoughts are just going. I'm like, you have no idea what I'm going to do to you.
And she does it with that smile.
Right. I'm smiling like, yeah, you have no idea. But fight week was just awesome because it was just such a great buildup. And because the rivalry was so real between Mayer and I, it just made for a great fight. We had so many eyes and so many views on this card that it topped the other 2 cards that night. And I think that's just speaks a lot of volumes that women are coming with everything, every avenue. We're just checking the box. The build-up check, the rivalry check, the fight check, the crowd, sold-out arena. And it's dope. And
to add to everything that you just mentioned, let's not forget that you were supposed to fight, like you said, 2 weeks prior. And due to the Queen's death, may she rest in peace, everything was halted. All activities, everything was just scratched. So how frustrating was it for you, that lull? Because when you're called off, literally 2 days before you fight, you don't know when you're going to fight again. And it was such the negotiations, the back and forth. That's so much work. Plus the tour that you had done. And then all of a sudden, everything is just pulled out of your feet. So how frustrating was that?
I have to be thankful for my journey. So when I first turned pro, I was selling tickets. I was a club fighter. And this would happen all the time.
Really?
I would sell so many tickets. The day of the fight got canceled. The day before, you have to tell your fans, like, I'm sorry, the fight got canceled. So, excuse me. So I was used to this. So I'm like, okay, we're at a bigger stage. It's a little awkward. It's different. But I'm not new to this. And I took it as a positive. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go back to the gym. I'm going to sharpen up everything that I need to sharpen up on. I was able to even make adjustments with my corner.
Wow, in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, yeah, absolutely. And I took advantage.
So how soon did you get a date?
Well, we knew that day when they kind of canceled, they were kind of like, okay, October 15th, it's looking like that. And then, we were still waiting on confirmation. But just like anything, you stay ready. And that's exactly what I did. I stayed ready. I went back to the gym. I had an even harder training camp, harder sparring, because I'm like, I want this fight. I'm going to be the unified champion come fight night, and I made sure of that.
You know, the mental state and focus is so key to these moments. And I'm just gonna, go back in history to a very dramatic event in the U.S., and that was 9/11, and back in 2001 when Tito Trinidad came from the island, was in New York waiting for that fight against Bernard Hopkins. And then 9/11 happens, everything gets postponed. And B-Hop returned home. Tito stayed in New York. And the one thing that we were just talking with Carl Moretti from Top Rank, Tito never recovered mentally. Like it was that not only the start-stop, but also everything around, the environment, the city, even the smell in the city was tough. But mentally, B-Hop was perfectly fine. He had the time and the space to go back and, like you said, sharpen up whatever he had to sharpen up. Tito never recovered mentally from that. So kudos to you, to all the ladies that were able to just regather, do a reset, and get back and bring the whole crowd. Because that's another thing. You say, okay, we have a date. It's like we're getting ready for a party. Oh, no, scratch it. We're going to go next week. And now you don't want to get dressed again. So kudos to everybody that actually showed up. And again, the arena was packed to the rim. And I remember it was a beautiful walk-up, by the way. Congratulations. Very artistic. How did it feel to walk into a jam-packed arena in England?
Man, it brought me back to the Terry Harper fight when I became world champion. And that was just a smaller crowd, but I knew that the crowds were going to get bigger as I grew. When I went to the Amanda and Katie fight, I literally took a moment and looked around. I'm like, AB, you're going to be in this moment sooner or later. And that came at the O2, October 15th. And when I came out, I'm just like, wow, I made it.
You did, indeed.
And it was just a blessing. But I took all that energy and I just lived in the moment. I always try just to live in the moment because it's gone like that. Like the fact that I fought and it's gone, I'm like, those moments are everything. I go back and I watch it. I'm like, that was so much fun. Like, what's next?
And they're so quick. They're so fast.
So quick.
So how much, we always talk about styles make fights. And a good opponent will make you that much better. How much better did Michaela make you that night?
100% better. She made me look amazing. And I made her look average. That's how I took it. You know, it was a thing where she was my biggest test on paper. She was the Olympian. She was the one with, the network, the background. And I was able to trump all that and say the underdog always prevails. Never overlook an underdog. I'm still hungry as I was as an 8-year-old girl walking into the gym. I knew that one day I was going to have my opportunity, and not knowing that Michaela was that girl that I've been eyeing since the amateurs, and I finally got to fight her as a pro and beat her. It was amazing, and that fight on paper says a lot. Even to the crowd, it says a lot. Who is Alicia Baumgartner? People are still questioning that.
And as you say that, I know who you are. I know where you come from. I know where Michaela comes from. Very different pedigrees, but pedigrees nonetheless.
Right.
And both ladies that work extraordinarily hard with an extraordinarily flawless work ethic. And I was not surprised from the quality of fight that we got.
Right.
From none of the ladies. It's the first time we have a full card of only ladies, and I didn't expect anything less. But that was my view as a fan. From your standpoint, sitting there, exchanging punches, did you learn something about you? Did you learn something new about you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always learning. I'm a sponge, so I love to just soak up the knowledge. And every moment of that fight, I was learning something new. Every time I went back to the corner, I was learning something new. And one thing about boxing and having a strong mentality is tapping in. It's pushing through. I knew there was round 6. I came back to my corner, and my trainer was like, I need you to go forward. I don't need you to go back. I need you to go forward. And that changed the dynamic of that round 7. And I would say that was probably one of my favorite rounds. And you could just see the effort that I put towards that. And to really dig deep. You really have to dig deep. You have to bring that out. And when you're able to do that in a fight, not only sparring, sometimes you get it in sparring, but when you're able to do it in a fight, that's life-changing. That's mental toughness. That's leveling up the bar. And so now I have that experience. And so now I know when my coach is like, I need you to go forward, okay, I know that feeling. I can lock in and go forward and dominate. So yeah, I'm always learning.
And we did notice you have a beautiful relationship with your corner. It was a dance. They would pull, you would push. They would push, you would pull. And obviously we saw that in Michaela's corner. And we want to say that the ladies don't need men, but it was part of the growth. Mm-hmm. How important is that very tight-knit relationship for you with your corner, with your coach?
It's so important to make sure that your corner is balanced. I've had, corner issues. And for a very long time, I've been waiting just to have my team, something solid, something secure. And I had that for this fight for the first time in a long time. And so that was great, and it's just necessary. And I'm quick to cut people off. If it's not working for me, if you're not applying what I need in the corner or just in my team, you got to go, because I only deal with positive energy. And so just to have that team, everybody was just working well together. It just makes for a better fighter. It makes for comfort. It makes for comfortability when you're in the corner, when everything just seems at an all-time high. But when you're in the corner, it's at peace. You should be at peace in the corner.
And tranquility, because I was speaking with Robert Garcia, veteran manager, trainer, and he was sitting here, and the one thing that I admire of him is that it doesn't matter what's going on in the ring. When the fighter comes back to the ring, I am not part of the chaos. I am going to clarify whatever's going on in your head and break it down. So, of course, I totally agree with you, and I am so thankful that you do have that peace, because I do know that it has been a struggle. And with that being said, after the 10 rounds, and we're all waiting for the decision, it took a little longer than what I wanted it to take, but finally, you hear, and the new. I remember that, and you're, hello, we're accompanied by good friends right here.
Hey.
And so when you hear the and the new, I know that your face just went from, I knew it. Mm-hmm. From, okay, I'm waiting, oh, I knew it. And then it was elation. But that's what I saw. Mm-hmm. What was going through your head?
The referee has our hands, right? And it's funny, I'll give you the little backstory. There was a photographer to my left, and I'm like, AB, put your hand up and take a picture before they announce the winner. Be confident. Know that you did what you had to do. And I was confident. I believed in my spirit that I won. So, I took the picture, and, they do the scorecards. I hear the first one. I'm like the second one. Then I heard the split. And I've been in this position. I told myself I've been in this position before where it came so close. But I knew, and I'm praying. You can see that I'm praying right there. I said, Lord, that I know this is for me. Like there's no doubt in my mind. And so when they raised my hand, I get so full of emotion. I tell people, I'm like, when I'm in training camp or I'm building up to a fight, I feel like I'm underwater swimming. Like I'm just training. I'm dealing with a lot of things. I'm taking on all this pressure. And when he said my name, it's just a release. It's like I'm coming up for breath, and I'm just like, I did it again. Like I did it. And it's just a great feeling when you're able to really face doubt. Face doubt, face on. Of course, people know that I'm great at what I do. But it's up to me to believe in that. It's up to me to really dig deep, like I mentioned, and understand that I'm set apart. My steps are ordered. This is an assignment for me to do, and we do this all the time. Let's have fun. You've seen in the fight I was having fun, and just take advantage. And it was just amazing that feeling. And when I'm able to go back to the Terry Harper fight and now to the fight with Mayer, it keeps that fire lit inside of me to know that you're inspiring young girls. You're inspiring someone out there who just maybe turned the TV on and just looked and like, why is this girl crying? Or why is this girl full of emotion, And that interests somebody. And when you're able to look at the backstory of knowing the obstacles and the struggles and what it takes to be here, that's you can gravitate towards that. You can be inspired by that. And that's what I'm here to do, is to inspire, to give people hope. You just need a little bit of hope, and you can do a lot of things.
No, hope is what keeps you going back.
Absolutely.
But within hope, you got to do the hard work.
Absolutely.
Because it doesn't come for free.
Absolutely.
And so once that was done, was there an exchange between you and Michaela? Did she congratulate you?
So with me, the buildup was nasty, a lot of animosity. But at the end of the day, I have respect as having sportsmanship. It's important because, again, you have people still watching you. I still have to be, part of that. I don't want to be nasty. So I went to her corner and I congratulated her. I'm like, just thank you. She was salty. She didn't, you could tell, if you go back, you could tell, like, yeah, whatever. But I'm like, well, I did my part. And that's all that matters. As long as I did my part, I'm going back to my corner. I'm celebrating. I said thank you, and we're moving on.
And when you move on, you start thinking, what's next? Mm-hmm. And you've said it. So when do we do this next? Now you're in a position where you can pick and choose.
Pick and choose.
Now you have the belt. Now you have the position of advantage. Mm-hmm. Who would you like to give an opportunity to go for that belt? Because eventually there's going to be a mandatory.
Right. Again, like I've been preaching for a long time, Choi. We want Choi. We want to make the undisputed fight at 130. I think this is great for the division, great for boxing, and we need that. And that's what I have my mindset on. Let's make this fight with Choi, who's a reigning champion for over 10 years. I think it's great. There's a story that needs to be told on both ends, and we can really build it. And I believe that this will be another great fight for the 130 division and for Alicia Baumgartner, and to become undisputed.
And for women's boxing and boxing in general.
Women's boxing in general. We're moving the needle. And one thing about women, when we have our mindset or something, we want to make a fight, we're pushing to make those fights happen. And we were able to see that 3 times this year.
Yes, we did. Because this has been a whirlwind year for women and for fighters. Period. For fighters. Because now we can say, I fight like a girl. Yes, I do fight like a girl. You'd be happy to fight like a girl. Mm-hmm. And as a matter of fact, I was speaking to Jordan Maldonado, and he was talking about how much easier it is to work with women, how hard you guys work. The ladies have a different level of not only work ethic, but awareness of what they need to do to get shit done.
Okay.
Period. And I was speaking to managers and promoters and saying how much you're willing to just go the extra mile to promote, to make sure that sell the tickets, yada, yada, yada. And with that being said, we're here, Franchon is here, Clarissa is here, and now we have history-making moments, undisputed, undefeated, and they're writing their own chapters.
Man, absolutely. And that's so heartwarming to me, to be a part of something so special, to make history, to have a legacy behind you. One day I'm able to tell my kids this, and I'm like, that is awesome. Like, I became a world champion, this, and this, became the unified champion. And there's just a story to tell, and I think it's so important that we're able to highlight different women in the sport. We all have different backgrounds, different stories, different shapes and sizes, and it's great. It's great that we're able to have that, and we're able to show the world that women are just powerful. We light up the world, and you could literally ask anybody. I feel like any man will agree that women, just awareness, how they get things done is just on point, and we're easier to work with. Like, you want us to get the work done, we'll get the work done. Say less.
And just moving a little bit aside from boxing, we always look great.
We always look great.
Yes, thank you. Just because I don't know if we get a chance to even, may I just showcase your hands?
Yes.
Look at these nails. Please, look at these nails. And the eyelashes, and the hair. And everything. Alicia, if I can take anything from you, is that you're always ready. Both be it to fight or to be on camera with a smile on your face. How difficult is it to, as a fighter, to balance the strength, the physical strength, with your feminine strength?
like you mentioned, everything is about balance, but I love that I can do both, a beauty and a beast. And I'm just reminded that you can do both. If I wanted to wear makeup and go spar, I could do that, and I don't let those limitations, set me apart. I just am who I am, and I just walk in that light of just positivity and just really know that if you see me, you would never know that I'm a fighter. But if you press those buttons, you're going to get a different side.
Yes, that switch will go off. And I admire that, especially because I've had the opportunity to see this new generation of lady fighters, the Marlene Esparzas, the Zenillas Estradas. But I come from the era of Christy Martin, Mia St. John, and it was such a challenge. Beautiful ladies with lives, with children, and because of the lack of support, they always had to play that role of just being the rough one, the hard one. And I'm so grateful to be able to see this different side of women's boxing, where you can be beautiful and dangerous all at the same time. And God forbid, my stilettos can come off too.
Okay.
That's it. And the way you guys carry yourselves, the outfits, you're fashionistas, for God's sakes, new trends. What motivates you to stay always in, I don't want to say in character because it's not in character, but in your own self, comfortable in your own skin, in the many layers that you have, just like an onion? How?
I look at myself daily in the mirror, and I tell myself, you're special, you can do anything you put your mind to. And I'm just able to, again, just live knowing that there's so much more to prove and continue just to grow. I'm never satisfied. There's so much more growth to grow on me, right? And I'm always wanting to just add more. There's so much more to add. I'm only 28, right?
I know, you're so young.
I'm still a baby to some people, and I'm just there's so much more to accomplish. There's so much more to do, but I'm willing to do it. I literally am like, God, what do you want me to do today? Because sometimes my mind just go, and I'm just sometimes you just have to sit still sometimes.
Yes.
And listen.
Be quiet. Yes.
Sound mind, right?
Yes.
So, yeah.
And it's interesting that you say there's more, and I want to do so much more. So when I speak to Clarissa and her motivation to work with the water in Flint, Michigan for obvious reasons, and then I speak to Franchon, and she's writing music, composing, and now she's got a fashion show coming up that I hope we can all come together and support her. And then, Zenillas Estrada is working with youth, and, so many things that we can do. What is your commitment besides boxing?
Yeah, again, it's giving back. Giving back is so important. As a young girl, and when I was coming up, we would go to different events and serve, the veterans. We would put on a little sparring match for them. We would sell turkey dinners. Just giving back is essential. And when you're able to give back, it's all about helping one another, right? And whatever that looks like, that could be a conversation. I could help you with the conversation. I can motivate you. I can give you something that you may need. But my purpose is to give back, wherever that looks like, and especially to the young girls who are boxing, who would love to go to the tournaments, but they don't have the funds for it. How can I help you with that? Because there's so much great talent out there. There's diamonds in the rough that need just one opportunity that I did. And if I can help that girl get to a tournament, to get her to know what that feeling is like, to win, the ringside belt, that's everything. That goes a very long way. And we have to motivate the youth. Now it's just critical. The youth, every generation's different. Social media is huge. So what are we doing to, change the lives? And it could be slight changes. It could be tell yourself that you love yourself. It could be self-confidence that you can teach somebody. It could be, helping a family out that's just a need. I don't know what it looks like. I just know I'm supposed to give back. However I'm supposed to help somebody, I'm going to do it because it's important. It's my duty. I can't have this platform and not do nothing with it, right? So right now I have an all-women's bag class. You would have to come to Detroit. I have an all-women's bag class, It's 30 minutes. The sauna is on, so it's a heated room.
Oof.
And we work in there. And the ladies that come, it's an outlet for them. It's an outlet for them to get in shape, to feel good about themselves, to be around women supporting women and losing weight. I had one of the ladies that I trained, she's lost over 100 pounds.
Yes.
Doing the bad class, and that makes somebody feel so good to see the transition. Like is amazing, and I'm inspiring her. And she's older than me, but you can inspire anybody, and that's what it's about. That goes a long way.
Yeah, well, sometimes wisdom comes out of the mouths of babes. And when I mean babes, is as in babies. And also going back to a very old adage, a life worth living is a life of service. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a rule when you're here.
Yeah.
It's whatever you have, you're fortunate, you live in gratitude, and therefore you give of yourself.
Yeah.
Another fighter that I really enjoy talking to, Nonito Donaire, and he's been around the world. He's a world champion many times, multiple divisions, and it's interesting that he decided to take time off just because he wanted quiet time, because he got to a point where he said, "Well, what's next for me?" Mm-hmm. But he needed to go back and take quiet time. Your life in the last 3 years have been, oh my God, it's nonstop. When do you have the quiet time?
That's a perfect question, because I'm actually trying to find that now, just in this moment. But sometimes it's just the walk up to the room. Like any moment I'm able just to take, even if it's a quick 5 minutes, just take that in, take a deep breath, take it in, because there's so much things going on, and quiet time is important. Like I said, you have to sit and listen. Okay, what's my next assignment? What am I supposed to do next? And you really have to find that time and find balance, because you can just go, and now you look up, the year's almost over, and you're like, well, have I done anything for myself? And that's
$1 million
just
question.
That's important, because boxing is just kind of a one-man sport, and you're being pulled in different directions, but you're able to. It's just important just to find that balance, and again, I have that. It's just making sure I stay on top of it.
Good.
Yeah.
So since we are in quiet time, I'm not even gonna ask you when you would like, or
you can ask. Yeah, okay, ask whatever.
When would you like to be back in the ring?
Listen, I told them December.
What?
I don't know how to sit still. That's the problem too. Silent time's great, but I don't know how to sit still. I'm so used to go. I've always been in the gym every day, just working, just staying ready. My mentality was always stay ready. They're gonna call you. I don't even know how to take time off. Like, I don't.
I have so much to say about that, because there's a time where your mind needs to take a break.
Yeah, but sometimes, going to the boxing gym is like my sanctuary.
Oh, fair.
It is my calming, my silent, my quiet time, just because I'm in my element, working on me. And again, you quiet time is with yourself, right? So mentally, I'm like in the gym. I'm like, okay, what I got to do? I'm talking to myself in my mind, like, okay, we got to work out. We got to do this. We got to do that. Okay. Oh, that jab's good. Like that time is quiet time for me as well.
Oh, okay. Well, then you do something for yourself.
Yeah.
So that's a gift to you.
Yeah.
Excellent. So if you were to come back in December, would it be another tough fight, or are you just looking for something to keep you active?
Tough. I love tough. I'm a fighter. Like, people think that I'm just here just to have fun. I'm here to fight. This is the fighting. I want to fight the best. I want to make these great fights. I want to challenge myself. I want to make history, make a legacy for myself. I'm with that. If I got to go to 35 to fight somebody, I'll do it. If I got to go to 40, I'll do it. I want to fight. I love to fight. It's in my blood. I'm hungry. I'm hungry.
And I know there's plenty of promoters here that are willing to give the ladies' opportunities now. So
Yeah.
I do hope we get a chance to talk so we can announce your
Yes.
December fight. Let me know, because I would love to make sure that you get all the support and the exposure, because the ladies are taking over boxing.
Yes, they are. Now, my mind wants December, but my team's probably like mid-spring.
See,
Maybe early spring. I'm like, okay, I guess. But honestly, as much as, I'm a fighter, so I'm like, yeah, December. But when you do take that time off and we do come back with the big fight, it's all about promoting. It's all about building this fight. And I preached to Eddie Hearn, I want to have a fight in Detroit. Detroit is the mecca of boxing.
They love their boxers.
The
tradition of boxing in Detroit, we just need to say one word, Kronk.
Kronk, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Yep.
Emmanuel
And
Stewart, Jonathan Banks, Suge,
Tommy Hearns.
Yes.
And to be a woman at the front of it all, I'm just like, I'm doing it. I'm going to make sure it happens.
There you go. So maybe.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to happen. I already put it out there.
You and I are going to have to talk.
Oh, we're going to talk. Listen, I know who I want as my ladies. Listen, I'm like, I need this the way I want to have it. And I believe I can have that. I work to have a say. I work to have a voice in this. I kept my head down. I kept training. I'm like, one day we'll get to where we can get to. And now I'm here, and you're going to hear my voice.
And you're here to stay.
And I'm here to stay. My foot are
Excellent.
planted, okay?
There you go. Alicia, it's always a pleasure to have you with us. It's always a pleasure to chat with this lady, and we still have a lot of coffees to share.
Sure do.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for being the outstanding human being that you are, for being such a great performer and giving us another chapter in the books of boxing. History has been made, and your name is in it.
Man.
So thank you so much.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure. Again, just being here at my first convention at the WBO. It's a great feeling. Obviously, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. You're amazing for sports in general, for boxing. We needed you. Absolutely.
Well, I'm here to stay, I hope.
No hope. We know. I'm going to make sure of it.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to go for a short break. And when we come back, we're going to keep talking about the rankings, who's up, who's down. And this is the assembly going on right now. You do not want to miss all the happenings, the ins and outs of the WBO here in the 35th convention. And we're going to have more ladies. Thank you. We'll be right back.
fue eso? Desde junio lo anunciaron, junio 3. Any other request?
Paco, yo de nuevo.
Sí.
Tengo a mi pelador.
Yo de nuevo.
Lindolfo Delgado. Me gustaría que estuviera, aunque sea los primeros 15 del mundo. Lleva 16-0, 13 knockouts. Es olímpico, representó a México en las Olimpiadas del 2016. Su última pelea derrotó por decisión unánime a Omar Aguilar, un peleador de 24-0, 23 knockouts. Una decisión muy convencida, así que espero que lo consideren en los primeros 15, aunque sea del mundo. Gracias.
Gracias a ti. Tienes el nombre, ¿verdad? Ok. Mushroom, yeah.
Another request from Matchroom. We have Dalton Smith, who is 12-0. He's the current British Boxing Board of Control British champion, and he's defending that belt again. This guy is honestly one of the most outstanding boxers in the UK already. He's headlining shows now. He's an exceptional talent. He's had 5 10-round wins and 1 12-round win already. We definitely believe that he deserves a top 15 ranking. He's not been rated with the WBO before. And being the British champion, you never get a bad British champion. That's a tough title to win. And I hope that Mr. John Handler could back me up there and put in a good word for Dalton Smith, because he's an exceptional talent. I'm sending his record now.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah. Any other request? Amaury.
Buena, de parte de Box Lab Promotions, representando a Néstor Bravo. Ustedes pudieron verlo anoche. Néstor Bravo ahora tiene el récord de 21-0. Gracias por la oportunidad de pelear por el título Nabo. Y ahora que lo pudo ganar ayer, solo le pido que lo pongan en los primeros 15 donde ustedes crean que está justificado. Gracias.
Bueno, Georgina Rivero de OR Promotions,
Espera,
Buenos Aires, Argentina, nuevamente.
Un segundo.
Sí.
Amaury, he will be in the top 15. Because the Nabo.
No, yo sé por el título porque quería estar seguro.
Sí.
Solamente quería decirlo. Y gracias por la oportunidad.
No, y felicitaciones, lució muy bien. Néstor. Ok, any other request?
Yes.
Georgina.
Sí. Bueno, quiero presentarle al comité de la WBO a José Ángel Rosa, llamado Sansón, uno de nuestros mejores prospectos, sino el mejor que tenemos hoy en la compañía en Argentina, con una excelente carrera amateur, ha sido selección argentina, su récord es de 16-0-0 con 13 knockouts, es el actual campeón Fedelatin de la asociación, el actual campeón latino del consejo y actual campeón argentino. Sería un honor para nosotros que Sansón forme parte de la familia WBO y poder formar parte de los 15 mejores y enfrentarse a quien sea. Como tú mencionabas antes, para Argentina es muy difícil traer a los mejores al país, por lo cual nos ponemos a disposición para ir a donde sea. Gracias.
Gracias, Georgina. Any other request? 140 pounds.
Hi, Don Paco, Felix from ProBox. We have WBO number 9, Cesar Francis. He's was the NABO champion. We'll be willing to fight Nestor Bravo for that regional title and try to get our title back if possible.
He didn't make the weight last time.
He didn't. We currently have him scheduled to fight January 23rd, a Wednesday night. He's staying active. He's fought 4 times this year, and we look to bring him back next year and fight for another title again.
Talk to Amaury and the guys there. Amaury left the... Amaury, where's
Hello and welcome. We are back here in the WBO, the 35th annual convention. We're celebrating the ladies. Thank you to the WBO. Right now, we're still going through the process of rankings. This is the opportunity for a lot of managers and promoters to come and talk to all the movers and shakers of the organization and state their case for their fighters, about their fighters, and this is where they start establishing who is going to occupy what position. As you can see, there's a part in that screen where we have Errol Spence Jr., where he has been ranked by the WBC, the IBF, and the WBA, and we see managers, Tom Loeffler, we have a promoter, Artie Palulo. They're all there having discussions and negotiations really to just make sure that every single fighter gets looked at, the records get, closely researched to see the level of opponents, and a lot of studying and looking at where they started the year, where they're ending the year, in order to give them a fair position within the WBO organization. And as this organization is having the 35th annual convention here in San Juan, Puerto Rico, the house of the WBO, this is the kind of events that happen all over the world. We're here in Puerto Rico now, but it's been all over the place. And if you can't make it, you can always join us via social media, Facebook Live. You can join us YouTube. And if you have not had the chance to listen to this podcast from the very beginning, and we started on Tuesday, I invite you to check it out because we've had outstanding guests. We've had very candid conversations from Carl Moretti from Top Rank, Alexander Usyk, Xander Zayas. We've had the ladies in boxing. We've had Franchon Cruz. We've had Alicia Baumgartner. And they've all been here sitting, having great conversations where they've actually talked about themselves, their careers, their personal things. And it's a great way for you to get to know not only the outstanding champions that hold their titles with the WBO, but up-and-coming talent that have shared with us their dreams and hopes in their career. And just in case you're wondering where else has the WBO been holding these different conventions, I invite you to watch a little clip of what happened in Cuba in one of their sessions. This is it.
We would like to say thank you to that people who come from the Japan, Filipinas, East Europe, California, everywhere. I know you make a lot of effort to continue with WBO. time because they will go to the Olympics tournament and that stuff, and they start later. Maybe we can consider 24, 25, whatever you decide. But that's something we must discuss later. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, Alex, but that's a good,
Yeah, this is a
that
prospect.
help you also in the rankings.
And with great pleasure, we're going to do that. I pass you his record with his picture. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, that concludes the 147-pound ratings.
Okay. Who got Conor Ben? Who got him? Any representative for Conor Ben? What happened to him? He tested positive, and what happened?
I'll keep this very short, but he's currently not suspended by any commission. So we expect this to be resolved in the next few weeks. But of course, we ask for him to maintain his current ranking whilst it's being sorted, as he's not suspended by any commission. So.
And he tested positive where? In UK?
Yeah, I don't want to go into it publicly now.
Not talking to what happened, but was in UK or for a fight or what happened?
It was a VADA test.
Oh, okay. Oh, VADA test.
But this is with lawyers and doctors at the moment.
But you said that British boy haven't doing anything.
No. He's not suspended by any commission.
Sorry, the British Boxing Board of Control yesterday, he handed his license back. So how can he be rated above anybody else in the world? He doesn't have a license. He handed his license back to the British Boxing Board of Control yesterday, and you've got fighters there who are rated below him. It's not right.
Paco.
John.
I have to say, this is sub judice at the moment. There's quite serious things going on, and we can't disclose anything at the moment.
I know.
I'm sorry, I asked this to be kept, it's not a conversation for now.
I got some public information here that there is, and I'm asking, did he render or, relinquish his license or that before the board or not?
Sorry?
He got licensed by the board.
No, at the moment it's sub judice.
It's under consideration.
I cannot discuss it. I'm not allowed to.
But I got the information here. Yeah.
Yesterday.
I know you got a hearing, and I don't want to go on to the facts, okay?
Because of that hearing and result of that hearing,
it's pending. The
our
resolution
lawyers
is pending.
have said, would I not discuss this with
but
the moment?
it's pending. The resolution is pending.
Yes.
It's under consideration.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can't.
That's right. It's under consideration now.
And that's also what I requested, is that we...
All we need is, please, keep WBO informed.
We will.
Okay.
As soon as we got some results, we'll come back.
Okay.
And we please ask that, he's kept where he is until the issue is resolved.
Yeah, because the problem is if he tested positive and the commission acted and got a resolution, we have to honor that, and then we have to put it out of the rankings. That's the only reason I am asking. But once the board got the decision,
We'll come straight back to you, Paco.
Okay, perfect. And you too, Tom. Okay, keep WBO informed. Okay, 147. More requests.
147 has been closed, Mr.
Okay,
President.
what time is it? Let's do something. We'll be 12. At 12, we're gonna have a break, and we're gonna be fast.
we're back here at the WBO, the 35th annual convention. We're celebrating the ladies. Today is rankings day, and we'll talk more about it later on today. That's going on in the General Assembly in one of the ballrooms. But like I've promised, every single session I have great guests. And I just have a very simple sentence to say. If a boxing personality is recognized by an 8-year-old, that gives you a very clear idea of how big this personality is. And sitting with me is none other than Tony Weeks. And you've been around forever, prestigious referee, involved with the Nevada Athletic Commission for many, many years.
Yes.
And you just got recognized by an 8-year-old.
Yes, wow. I mean, you know, like I say, I've always said, you know, it's still so surreal to me. I can't believe what I'm doing when I'm doing. And yes, you know, to be recognized by the next generation or the future generation, oh, that means a lot. You know, that means you're standing out in some type of way that a child, you can have that impression on a child. It's a blessing.
Well, I dare to say there's very few personalities that stick out and they stay permanent in people's minds due to either their performance, their involvement in society, in our community, or simply because of the factor of effect in their lives. And you happen to hit every single mark that I just talked about.
Oh, thank
your
you.
performance in the ring as a referee, your effect on other people, your kindness, your smile, you're always such a gentleman, and obviously the influence that you have brought into boxing. How does that make you feel?
Oh, that makes me feel great. You know, when you hear back from the public, you know, when wherever I'm at, you know, walking the street, in the restaurant, or, you know, anywhere in the public, and people come up and acknowledge me, you know, to me, it's not so much that they're, because they see me on TV, but they're acknowledging the work that I do, okay? And, you know, that really, really means a lot because, as you know, being a referee in any sport, you know, you take a lot of criticism sometimes, you know. I always say that, you know, the general public, you know, really has no idea what we go through in that ring. And they don't really look at us as being human. And what I mean by that is that we have to get it right every single time out. If we don't, you know, so when people acknowledge me of all ages, it really touches me. It really means a lot, you know. And this is my third or fourth time in Puerto Rico, and you know, the passion here of boxing is really, really strong. And the people come up to me and they acknowledge me, and you feel the genuine love, you know, for it. Even if sometimes somebody don't agree with the call you made, you know, because of the respect they have for you and the way they admire you as your profession, you know, really sets the tone.
Well, you touched so many points in that statement, but it is brilliant to be recognized by, for example, Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, Cubans. Not to disrespect other cultures, but the fans are, like you said, passionate, knowledgeable, and they're really involved in the sport of boxing. But going back to the statement of being a referee, from my standpoint, is perhaps the most thankless job in boxing. Even if you get it right, even if your call was the correct one, somebody is going to be on the losing end of that decision.
Absolutely.
And somebody is always going to be able to say, well, Tony didn't get it right for me.
Right.
And unfortunately, there's only 3 men in in that ring.
Right there.
And you're front and center stage.
Yes.
How do you carry on with that, knowing that pressure?
Well, you know, the thing about it is, first of all, those people really can't do my job. All right? And they don't understand my job. You know, they react for various reasons. Sentimental, that's their favorite fighter. They put money on it, you know, what have you.
I forgot that little detail.
You know, so they reacted in a different way. But, you know, having a strong belief in myself, that this is what I want to do, that this is what I'm good at doing, and this is my passion. You know, I tell people come up to me all the time and say, yeah, I want to be a referee like you, man. I want to be famous. I want to make the man. I said, hold on. First of all, understand what you're getting into. Okay? Because it's not all peaches and cream, you know. But the main thing is, like I say, just the belief in myself. I'm not going to let anyone dictate my career. Okay? This is what I want to do. You know, they may criticize you, in your profession.
They do all the time.
Yes, you know, they might not like what you say or whatever the situation is, but we're not going to allow anyone to dictate my outcome. You know, this was a gift that was brought to me by the man above. And what I mean by that is I grew up saying this is what I want to do. I love boxing. I grew up with boxing. I grew up during a beautiful era of the 70s and 80s. And, you know, the fighters are going 15 rounds and fighting.
The Alis, the Haglers.
Yes. You know, all of them, you know, and my idol, Muhammad Ali. You just have that strong belief in yourself, you know, no matter what, even when we're wrong. We feel bad like anyone else because we're human. We feel bad, you know, when we make a mistake. But, you know, you still go on. You still have that strong belief in yourself. No matter what, I'm still going to persevere.
What did you want to do when you were growing up?
You know, really, I didn't know really what I wanted to do. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. And
I didn't notice the accent at all, no.
Oh, yeah. And, I really didn't have any idea what I really wanted to do in life, you know. When you grow up in the inner cities, you know, that's all you know. And, when I started to go to college, when I started to leave New York and get outside of New York and see how the other half lives, so to speak, you get a different perspective of life. You know, hey, there's more to it than just the neighborhood. Yeah, you know. But, you know, if someone told me back then that I would be doing what I'm doing today, man, you crazy. You know, I couldn't even fathom the idea. But things happen to you. You know, I'm a spiritual person in terms of I believe, you know, your road is already mapped out for you, and as long as you stay on course, you know, you're going to get there. So, boxing refereeing came to me, okay, and when it came to me, and this is what I want to do, and once I made my mind up about that, because I was kind of said, you know, let me go back a little bit. A lot of people may not know this, but it was the Latinos that started me in boxing. And a trainer who passed away years ago, Beto Martinez, saw me. I had put on at the time I was working in a correctional facility, and I was a recreation supervisor. And I put on a boxing exhibition there and brought some fighters in, set the ring up there in the yard, and the fighters started, you know, boxing, and it dawned on me, I said, whoa, I didn't get a referee, you know, and I don't know, I just curious. I asked the trainer, I said, you mind if I get up there? He says, no. And I got up there and I started doing it, and instantly I fell in love with it. I said, you know what? You know, I want to do this, you know, and make a long story short, at the end of the show, the trainer asked me, have you ever done that before? I said, no. He says, well, I think you should look into it because you have good natural movements. The good thing about that is I have it on tape. And when I look at it today, now I see what he saw because I don't look too much different.
How old were you then?
Well, I was in my early 30s, I believe 30, 31, 32, somewhere around there. And even younger than that. He, like I said, he took it a step further. And this was in Phoenix, Arizona. I was working at the time, and he took it a step further and called the athletic commission and said, you should give this guy a shot. You know, and he was a very influential person in that field. And because the usual method is that you start out the amateur ranks, you work your way up. I actually
the shadowing and the hours and the fights,
all that. I actually went straight to the professional ranks, and what had happened was they gave me a tryout with a tough man contest. And if you if you know anything about a tough man contest,
everything goes.
Yes, you know. Wow. So, but everything went well, and here I am.
How many? So since then till now, how many fights?
I believe somewhere around 800 and something fights. You know.
How many championship fights?
I don't really keep track of it.
It's funny because when we think about boxing, we always talk numbers and records.
Yeah.
And we are so privileged to have personalities in boxing that can go into the hundreds.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, before we started this interview, I said to my crew, I said, gentlemen, we are in front of the face of boxing, the one face that is consistent. Fighters come and go, corners come and go, referees are permanent.
Yes.
And you are one of those figures.
Thank you.
Permanence. After how many years now?
Oh, wow, what, over 20-something years, going maybe 30-something years, Like I said, I really don't keep count of it, My thing is, I'm doing this as long as I can do it, as long as I'm physically able to do it, as long as it's not a job, And like I say, I love it, and I have a true respect and passion for it. I respect every fighter, male or female, who gets in that ring, whether you're a champion or a contender, doesn't matter. When you get in that ring, every fighter is laying the ultimate on the line.
Yes.
And so, I have a tremendous respect for that, and that puts me in the place where I want to be the best I can be, no matter what fight I'm doing.
And it's such a huge responsibility.
Yes.
And like you said, most people, it doesn't matter how long they've been fans, they don't really understand what the primary function of a referee is to maintain the well-being of those gentlemen that are practicing a sport, and to make sure that, be it the final bell or whenever the fight ends, that they're going back home safe and sound.
Absolutely, they have families, their fathers, their mothers, cousins, sisters, brothers, you have your family, as we know in our career is just a short span.
Yes.
Your lifestyle, your family is for life.
Yes.
And so that's what's more important, that, you have after your career, that you have the time to really enjoy and look back on what you have accomplished and what you have bestowed upon your family, and the pride that they have for you in what you accomplished in life.
So you've worked closely with a dear friend and somebody that I learned so much from, Joe Cortez. And I remember that fight, Juan Manuel Marquez, Manny Pacquiao. Juan went down 3 times in the first round, but Joe knew Juan. And the minute that Juan was getting up, he looked at him in the eyes, and he knew he was allowed to let the fight continue.
Absolutely.
And it's so hard for us not to fall in love and be friends with the fighters in the corners, but that could also be, it's a double-edged sword.
Okay.
How do you handle that? Because we see the fighters, we see their families, and then you're trying to, you're doing a job. You're supposed to be impartial. Obviously, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
But it's key for you to know the fighter, to know how much longer you can allow this fight to go.
Yes. One word: professionalism.
True.
Okay. Like fighters, you have maybe some little animosity before the fight, but the talking back and forth. But when they go through the combat together, at the end, there's always that mutual respect.
Amen.
And it's the same with us. There's 3 people in that ring. There's a mutual respect that fighters have for us as officials, and that we have for the fighters. Like I say, they may not agree with some of the calls we make, but there's a mutual respect because they understand what it's like to be in that ring. Okay, I understand what a fighter is going through when he's on the brink of being knocked out or being stopped or being hurt. And compassion. I have to come in and I have to stop this. I have to save you. And like I say,
you have to save them from themselves.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Because they're warriors. They're true warriors, and yes, they want to go out on their shield, and I respect that. But I disrespect my job that I have to do that. It is my job, like you say, to protect you from yourself. Because, like you say, our job is to enforce the rules and regulations, but ultimately nothing goes above safety, of that fighter. The great Richard Steele, my mentor, told me that he says there's certain fights you may not get credit for right away, but when the dust settles and everything settles down and people realize what happened and what you did in that ring, you would get credit for it.
when you go home, you've waved off a fight. You said you've had enough.
Yeah.
Because I've heard you saying
Yes.
enough.
Yes.
And you wave it off.
Yes.
Can you let it go? Close the chapter, go home? Or does it stay?
You know, of course, it depends on what happened, how it happened, so forth and so on. But yeah, you know, it's human nature to always, you know, kind of question yourself. You know, did I do the right thing? Because a lot of my stops is spontaneous. You know, I just react to it. I see a certain situation happening.
Anything.
Yeah, and you just react to it, and it's like, oh, next thing you know, I'm jumping in and stopping the fight. You know, and then there's some fights where it's clear cut that okay, no, you know, that's it. But yes, it's human nature to really sit back and think about it, because like I said, we're human, and I have that bond with these fighters who went to war, you know, 6 rounds, 8 rounds, 10 rounds, 12 rounds, and it's such a respect because I understand what they're going through, and like I say, I want to be the best I can be, but I know as a human, I'm subjected to human tendencies, human error.
Yes.
But yes, you know, you go through it and you think about it, and you know, the thing about it is, and I tell young referees this, you know, you have to be honest with yourself. Okay, if you made a mistake, own up to it. You know, don't try to talk around it or beat around it. No, my bad. You know, I made a mistake. And then you learn from it, because you try to cover up something, you're not really learning.
And it gets bigger.
It gets bigger.
Yes.
It gets bigger and bigger. No, people respect honesty.
True that.
You know, and, you know, yeah, so, yeah, you know, you think about it, you know, and it could play in your mind. That's why, like I say, our job is so difficult. You know, it's not a 9-to-5 job where you clock off,
in, clock out.
Okay, yeah. I'm out here. I'm sitting back and relaxing, whatever. No, this stays with you. You know, by you even mentioning this, you know, brings up certain feelings or certain fights that, you know.
I know.
Yeah, you know. So, yeah, it's real. It's real.
You are so right. And I'm going to take this opportunity before you leave, because I know you got to go catch a flight. I thank you deeply for taking your time and having this chat. We very seldom get the opportunity to talk to referees, but I want to leave this conversation first with gratitude for your job, for your commitment to the well-being of our gladiators that stand there and they put their lives on display, and they're playing with it round after round. And I thank you for taking care of them. I thank you for teaching us, not just about boxing, but about being committed to a profession that, like I said at the beginning of this interview, so thankless, and you do it wholeheartedly with passion and with the Lord before you, always being truth and honest in this world that could be a bit rough and hard. So I thank you, Tony. Thank you for being such a great example and a role model, and for taking your time to chat with us. And I hope to see you soon back in Las Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for always having me on your show to interview me. You know, it's always a great honor that and a great inspiration to me that I get a chance to express myself to the public and let them see the human side of me.
Yes.
You know, as opposed to when you see somebody on refereeing a fight, you know, we have this stoic look on our face,
Very
you know,
stern.
you know, because it's about business. And but you know, to get to know someone personally, that you know, people can look at you a little differently. So you know, thank you for everything that you do, and you know, thank you for seeking me out and allow me to be on your show, and I appreciate everything you do and what you say to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, before you go, I want to send everybody to a break. We'll be back at 2 after lunch, and we're gonna have more guests, so don't miss it. And in the meantime, you can go back to YouTube and check out all the interviews, like the one that I just had with Tony Weeks. Extraordinary interviews with Usyk. Don't miss that. We'll be right back.